takes more than being online to be a great online university. It takes time and experience. University of New England pioneered distance education in the 1950s and has been perfecting it ever since. With features like 24/7 tutor access, we're now rated #1 for teaching quality and support, and the only public university in Australia to receive a 5-star rating 14 years running. So, for an expert online education, choose UNE.
When was the last time you were persuaded by a message? Can you remember being moved, whether it was to sign up or buy something or spread the word about the message? Now, if you think back to that moment, do you remember what it was that opened your mind or your heart? Was it the fact that it was on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram where you moved to action because of the platform or the technology? I doubt it, right? And that's because great marketing doesn't get people to act by deploying the latest whiz-bang platform or clever algorithm. Now, don't get me wrong, all that tactical stuff is important. That's how we execute. But what are you actually executing on? Now, for decade after decade, arguably for centuries, the best marketing has moved people by telling a story. When Budweiser warns you against drinking and driving, they do it with a story about how someone waits for you at home. If, like a lot of us, you've been watching The Last Dance, you'll recognise the Michael Jordan story of the 90s. It's about almost unimaginable greatness, about achieving heights most of us can only dream of, and the price that's paid in the process. Warby Parker, the company that sells designer glasses at affordable prices, was founded on a story about a student who lost his glasses while backpacking and spent the first semester of grad school squinting because he couldn't afford a replacement pair. So what's happening here is these stories are connecting us with problems, and then they're moving us deeply while telling us about the solution. And it's important to remember this now more than ever, because as the world shuts down and businesses are panicking to get online, and Amazon's rising stock has boosted Jeff Bezos' worth by more than $28 billion US since the beginning of the year, which is about equal to the GDP of Honduras. And we're spending more and more of our working lives on Zoom. We've got more technology at our fingertips than ever before. Yet the power of a simple story, well told, still lies at the heart of the matter. So, what are the elements of a great business story? Ask yourself the following. Do you have a relatable character? The someone waiting for you at home in the Budweiser story is your loyal and loving dog. Does this character have a passionate goal? Michael Jordan certainly did. Is there a conflict? Is there something or someone standing in the way of that goal, like the price of a decent pair of glasses? And does this passion and the conflict or obstacle generate emotion? Do we actually care? And finally, is there a clear resolution? Now, not all business stories contain all these elements, but the great stories contain most of them. So finally, what can you do in these challenging times to improve your storytelling? Well, you can start by looking for these story elements. And whether it's in the context of your personal brand, your startup, or the organisation you're working for, you can play with these elements. Try fitting them to your story. And you never know. If you're passionate about your goal and you're willing to go through some conflict and some obstacles, you might earn yourself a happy ending.